All right, we're here with the third and final video for today. We're going to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop and the scandal, and we're going to talk about the censorship that the big tech giants are doing, and, a bit about the antitrust lawsuit that is going currently right now today. We got some updates on it, and like I had said in my first video, that some of what Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, and them have said is pretty alarming. So we'll get into it here. From Fox News first, Biden stays silent on Bobulinski claims about family's business ventures. Biden has long denied being involved in his family's business dealings, while Bobulinski last night on Tucker Carlson said that he has met twice in regard to Joe Biden, dealing with, Hunter Biden's business dealings and all that. So, wonder who's actually lying. The man who's actually known for lying, Joe Biden, or someone who is actually risking his life and himself to pursue this truth. Joe Biden and his presidential campaign are staying mum after Hunter Biden's former business associate went public to say he met twice in the past with the former vice president, despite past statements from Biden on the campaign trail that he had no involvement with or discussions about his family's overseas business ventures. That associate, Tony Bobulinski, gave an interview on Fox News, Tucker Carlson Tonight, on Tuesday and detailed his alleged meetings with the former vice president, one of which took place on May 2nd, 2017, according to text messages first reported by Fox News last week. Those messages indicated that the meeting did, in fact, take place. Bobulinski claimed Tuesday that it was Hunter Biden and Jim Biden, the brother of the former vice president, who had pushed the meeting. They were sort of whining and dining me and presenting the strength of the Biden family to get me engaged, he said. The Biden campaign declined to comment on the meeting Biden allegedly had with Bobulinski. Biden himself has not yet directly addressed Bobulinski's claims on Tucker Carlson Tonight. In 2019, Biden told reporters, "I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period." Well, you seem to be quite a liar because, contrary to the evidence, yeah. But Bobulinski, in his interview Tuesday, described at length how Joe Biden arrived for a Milken conference, partly held at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, and how he was introduced by Jim and Hunter Biden to the former vice president. Speaking with Carlson, Bobulinski also claimed Biden's denials of knowledge in his son's former dealings during the presidential debate was a blatant lie. "I didn't request to meet with Joe Biden," he said. "They requested that I meet with Joe Biden. They were putting their entire family legacy on the line. They knew exactly what they were doing." He asked why the former vice president would want to meet him. Why on 10:38 on the night of May 2nd would Joe Biden take time out of his schedule to take time with me, behind a column so people could not see us, to have a discussion with his family and my family and business at a very high level, he said. The meeting on May 2nd, 2017 would have taken place 11 days before a May 13, 2017 email obtained by Fox News, which included a discussion of remuneration packages for 6 people in a business deal with a Chinese energy firm, which is like money, essentially. The email appeared to identify Hunter Biden as chair/vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC, in an apparent reference to now bankrupt CEFC China Energy Company. The email includes a note that Hunter Biden has some office expectations. He will elaborate. A proposed equity split references 20 for H, 10 and 10 held by H for the big guy. With no further details, Bobulinski has repeatedly said that the big guy was Joe Biden. Biden has repeatedly denied being involved with his son's business dealings. Thanks for being redundant. Bobulinski, meanwhile, said he has told CEFC that it was a $10 million deal that would see a $5 million loan to the Biden family, and $5 million was their contribution to capitalize Sinohawk Holdings. So the $5 million loan to then the Biden family seems to then be the $5 million contribution to make Sinohawk Holdings. Okay, apparently this like broke on me. Like, Fox News keeps like breaking. It's been going like slow trying to read this stuff. I don't know. Maybe they're getting like DDoSed or something. We'll move on to the next Fox News video. Lapdog Press blacks out explosive Tony Bobulinski claims as CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, and WAPO just decided to skip the story. Yeah, most of the mainstream media on the left just won't even... They won't say a word. absolutely nothing on this matter, even when it's been verified, even when more and more people are coming out. They don't care. They're in defense of him. They're in defense of Joe Biden and the corrupt Democrats and the corrupt establishment. That's why we needed Trump, I guess. I mean, he was, like what Tim Pool says, he was the bull in the china shop that just started rampaging, and yeah, that's true. Kind of almost what we needed. We needed someone to then show their hypocrisy, show their corruption to us. It says critics are baffled that the mainstream media has largely ignored Tucker Carlson's interview with Tony Bobulinski, a former business associate of Hunter Biden, who said the Biden family shrugged off concerns that Joe Biden's alleged ties to his son's business deals could put a future presidential campaign at risk, raising questions about whether the lapdog press is still worthy of public trust. No, I wouldn't say so, especially if they won't say absolutely anything on it. Well, they did say a little bit something on it. They said, we're not going to report on this story because it's all unverified and it's all alleged and it's all accusations. But yet they ran with Russia collusion for 3.5, 4 years. Yeah, just shows their hypocrisy, doesn't it, guys? All right, we'll get into, what other people are saying, what other, news sites besides Fox News are saying. And as I said, most of the mainstream left isn't saying they won't say anything at all on it, really. So we have to go to more independent sites, and I guess the right-wing media, even though it really isn't, they mostly, which is pretty much just Fox, and that's it. The rest are pretty much independent and moderate, I guess, besides, Breitbart. But, I think Breitbart's just really salty at the establishment more than they are actual, far right. We got from Pulse Millennial, Tony Bobulinski exposes Joe Biden on Tucker Carlson tonight, calls Biden's denial a blatant lie. So we kind of went over it. They pretty much say a lot of the same things from the Fox article. It's just, in a different order at this point. They say, in the episode dedicated entirely to the explosive scandals at exactly 1 week out from the November general election, the Biden family insider alleged that the former vice president under the Obama administration was aware of Hunter's overseas business deals despite the Democratic nominee's claims to the contrary. During the hour-long interview, the former head of Sinohawk Holdings, which he describes as a partnership between the CEFC China energy conglomerate and the Biden family members, pointed to the presumed wheel and deal meeting amid the 2017 Milken Institute Global Conference at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles. A full video documents Biden's attendance as a keynote speaker. Text messages revealed Hunter personally arranged the meeting with his business associates and his father in May of that year. MRNG, please let me know. I'm guessing he's trying to say manager. Please let me know if we will do early dinner with your uncle. And dad and where. Also for document translation, do you want it simple Chinese or traditional? Bobulinski texted Hunter on the same day. Bobulinski messaged Jim Biden, Joe's brother and Hunter's uncle. Great to meet you and spend some time together. Please thank Joe for this time. Was great to talk. Thanks, Tony B. It also sounds like Joe Biden was vetting you to some extent. Carlson prodded Bobulinski. Yes, of course. I didn't request to meet with Joe. They requested that I meet with Joe, Bobulinski affirmed. It was never about Hunter or Jim. It was about the Biden family. Bobulinski stated on camera they wanted me to sit down with their father to understand the Biden family. And it's just with the laptops. It's not about Hunter Biden. It's not about him being a crackhead and addicted to prostitutes and underage prostitutes. It's about his father, who's trying to become president, who knew about all this stuff, dealt in all of this stuff, and then used the media apparatus to try to cover it all up and lie his A off. Here's from Daily Caller. Hunter's ex-business partner, Tony Bobulinski. Joe Biden, the Biden family are compromised. So they go over, a lot of the same stuff as well. They say they were sort of a whining and dining me and presenting the strengths of the Biden family to get more engaged and want to take on the CEO role of the joint business venture between the Chinese energy firm CEFC, China, and Oneida Holdings, a Delaware-based LLC. Biden said it was crystal clear that Hunter Biden has brought his father up to speed on the status of a joint venture deal with the before he met with the former vice president. You guys might want to redo that sentence because that one's off. They were putting their entire family legacy on the line. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were dealing with Chinese-owned enterprise. They had strong financial support and political support from the Chinese Communist Party. That's how it was presented to me. That's not my own words. That's how they presented it to me and read me in on it, Bobulinski said. Bobulinski recalled bringing up his concerns with Jim Biden the following day after his meeting with the former vice president that their business dealings with the Chinese could impact his brother's 2020 presidential aspirations. I know Joe decided not to run in 2016, but what if he ran in the future? Aren't they taking a political risk or headline risk? And I remember looking at Jim Biden and saying, how are you guys getting away with this? Like, aren't you concerned? And he certainly looked at me and he laughed a little bit and said, plausible deniability, Bobulinski said. Later that day, Bobulinski described a second meeting he had with Joe Biden in a parking lot in which the former vice president told him to keep an eye on his son and brother. Joe Biden is not named in any corporate documents from Oneida, despite a much-publicized May 13, 2017 email Bobulinski received from Hunter Biden associate James Gilliar, saying that 10% of the firm would be held for H by the big guy. And Bobulinski said big guy in the emails a reference to Joe Biden. So it seems to be that quite a good amount of people in the Biden family are involved in this. I mean, it seems to be Joe's brother and his sons. It's corruption at its finest. And then they're just going to be like, ha ha ha, plausible deniability. I'm just going to deny it all. And if the mainstream media doesn't, report on all of it, then ha ha ha, I'll get away with everything. Ha ha ha. Hope you guys like my laughs there. It's kind of like, actually, those laughs that I did would perfectly represent the Joe Biden face right here. Joe Biden corruption trends on Google, but Google whitewashes autocomplete suggestions like they were doing with the Project Veritas video with the hashtag rigged election. That was Twitter, doing that, but now it's Google who's trying to do it. Interest in allegations of corruption against Joe Biden, as well as his alleged ties to Burisma, spiked in the month of October, according to Google Trends, with more people searching for the topics than ever before. But unlike other search engines, Google fails to display such suggestions, such as Joe Biden corruption and Joe Biden Burisma, similarly to the way it failed to display negative search suggestions about Hillary Clinton in 2016. This is despite the fact that the search terms Joe Biden corruption and Joe Biden Burisma are enjoying a popularity spike in Google Trends, meaning that large numbers of people are searching for them. And you can see in the chart here that it's over time on October 4th, and it's just shot up since October, and it's been pretty much holding steady then at that point. The chart above shows searches for Joe Biden corruption spiked upwards in the month of October. However, Google is not displaying the search term in its drop-down list of suggestions, instead pointing them to the far less popular search of Joe Biden Corvette. We can actually do that. Actually, let me bring up Google Chrome, cause let's see it. Here's Google Chrome. Joe Biden, and what do you know? Corrupt. Nope, won't autocomplete. Joe Biden, nope, won't autocomplete. You get bumper sticker. But if you start to get close to that, corruption or Burisma, boom. Let's not let it autocomplete then. What? It's not stopping because people are still searching. It says adding another R to the search, Joe Biden Core returns no autocomplete suggestions at all. We as I showed you, we even used Google Chrome. So it's no excuse that it's like a different browser or anything. I literally used Google Chrome to use the Google search engine, and lo and behold. We got Gateway Pundit breaking exclusive Hunter Biden pictures of himself disrobed and exposed with certain minor Joe Biden is lying. Text messages, videos, and pictures were recently discovered on Hunter Biden's laptop that put Hunter and Biden family in a very compromising situations. Perhaps the most disturbing revelations in the many files in the Hunter Biden laptop is the family's actions surrounding Hunter's inappropriate and possibly criminal behavior with a certain minor. Former VP Joe Biden claimed that controversy with Hunter Biden's laptop was created by Russia. Evidence shows this is not the case. Yeah, we know it's not Russian disinformation. Biden does not want you to believe your own eyes. Of course, Joe Biden is the one who is lying. On Monday, we shared 5 texts related to the Biden family's cover-up of Hunter's actions with a minor. The text messages involved Hunter Biden and his immediate family and a friend. The text messages confirmed Joe Biden was looped in on Hunter's illegal activity with a certain minor and attempted to cover it up. Below are the texts. Hunter Biden sent the following text to a family friend where she shares that someone is accusing him of being sexually inappropriate around her daughter. This is why Hunter claims he is not allowed to be alone with that person. Tell people I'm sexually inappropriate with her daughter. If any one of you ever repeat that again, I swear to God, you might as well put the gun to my head yourself, because blank, if all the tabloids who live to dick with me anyway were to repeat a rumor, blank came from blank, that's why I can't come home. I will not survive that. No one could survive that. She is stupid, and she is reckless, and she is evil. And if you can't get her to see her own self-interest in never saying that again as a reason, I'm not allowed to be alone with blank. Says in another text message from Hunter to a family friend, Hunter shares that his mother, Jill Biden, propagates the claims that Hunter is sexually inappropriate around the children, and VP Joe Biden is aware as well. Would they believe exactly what blank tells them? Or my mom tells him things like, I'm sexually inappropriate with the children. So tell me, please, how do I keep my kids without killing myself in the process? I don't do anything inappropriate with other children and minors. That's probably a good start, Hunter. In the third text message sent to Hunter Biden from his Uncle Jim Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden's brother, Uncle Jim shares that both he and former VP Joe Biden are upset with accusations of impropriety, but they don't believe them. Jim and Joe Biden want to discuss with Hunter so they can all get their stories straight. Yeah, make sure it's all corroborating with each other. In an email to colleague and fellow board members on Burisma, the now felon Devin Archer, Hunter explains how he is not allowed to be around a certain person without his father, Joe Biden, being there. So thanks for chatting last night. Braza, this life is just real torture. Yes, it seems like an endless test of my sanity. To hate as much as do right now is beyond dangerous. Blank won't let me see blank without my father present. Can you effing imagine that? That F up that I've effing shielded for 2 years and taken all the heat is keeping me from talking to or being around blank. And a fifth text message shows Hunter explaining to a certain person that her mom told former VP Joe Biden that she would call the police if Hunter tried to see that person. So I love you, blank, but your mom just decided that she is willing to risk having you taken from her rather than spend a month with family in Malibu, California. She told Pop that she would call the police if I tried to see you, blank. When she lies and says she never said that, call Pop and ask him. And then you can see some pictures, I guess. I'll probably have to blank most of these, to be honest. But we'll see. I probably won't. We now have proof that Hunter was exposing himself for naked selfies with a certain minor in the same room. The first picture that has been heavily redacted shows Hunter taking a photo of himself, again, fully exposed, with a certain minor in the room on the bed. The second picture shows in bed. The certain minor is next to him in the bed in the photo. The Biden household has many secrets. Some secrets involved Hunter and a minor. Why was this hidden from public or from the police? Well, I think you know why, because then Joe Biden would be completely finished if his son was, a pedo. It's coming from the Biden nuclear family. There are no records that any of this was brought to the attention of the police by the Biden family. No, they'd cover it up. I mean, Joe Biden's in politics. You can't have that going loose at all. Not in the slightest. So we got also from Bobulinski, I came forward because Schiff accused me of being part of Russian disinformation. It says during an interview aired on Tuesday's broadcast of the Fox News Channel's Tucker Carlson Tonight, former Hunter Biden business associate Tony Bobulinski stated that he was motivated to come forward on the record after House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff accused him of being part of Russian disinformation. Bobulinski said, when I saw Adam Schiff go on record talking about Russian disinformation after this email had been posted online by the New York Post, I was at the end of my rope, and so I called Rob Walker and I told him that if that statement isn't retracted by Congressman Schiff by midnight on Sunday, that I was going on record and I was disclosing all the facts to the American government, to the American citizen, and the world. I was hoping the Bidens would do the right thing or Schiff would retract his statement. Well, it doesn't seem to be, so it looks like Tony Bobulinski is going pretty hard forward, because I wouldn't want to be called a Russian spy as well, right? Here we are from Daily Caller. Feds obtain FISA warrant against Hunter Biden's Chinese business associate. Documents show. Federal court authorized foreign and surveillance warrant against one of Hunter Biden's Chinese business partners. Court documents show the existence of a FISA warrant against the Biden associate, Patrick Ho. Indicates that federal investigators believed Ho was working covertly as an agent of a foreign government. Ho was an executive at CFC China Energy, a firm that paid Hunter Biden at least $5 million as part of an investment deal. Biden would later represent Ho during his criminal case. And I believe Patrick Ho is, I believe he was being investigated for, being a Chinese spy. So you got the FISA warrant against Hunter Biden's, the Chinese business associate, and hopefully that'll corroborate, more of this information, because a lot of it's already pretty damning and should already be an investigation, and the fact that it really isn't, and the fact that most of the mainstream media just won't say a word, it's mind-boggling the level of corruption that they're willing to do. And it doesn't seem to be working. It doesn't seem to be working super well. Besides, the echo chamber of Twitter, I guess. They are also destroying the trending section by taking stuff off that should be trending. And, censoring a lot of conservative voices and even moderates and independents. Here we got live updates. Big tech CEOs to testify before Senate. The Senate Commerce Committee voted last week to authorize subpoenas for Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey. The leaders of three of the biggest tech companies in the world are facing a dilemma of their own after a Netflix documentary about the issues caused by their services sparked a Senate hearing slated on Wednesday. The CEOs of technology giants Facebook, Google, and Twitter are expected to testify on tech companies' treatment of speech and information on their platforms. Senate Commerce Committee voted last week to authorize subpoenas from Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, Sundar Pichai of Google, and Jack Dorsey of Twitter to force them to testify if they didn't agree to do so voluntarily. Spokespeople for the companies said Monday that the CEOs will cooperate. So you can kind of see what some of them are saying. We'll move over here to Daily Mail because I haven't read through all the, live updates, and they're kind of changing constantly. So things are being, arranged in a different way. Twitter's Jack Dorsey says conservatives have lost our trust as he, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, and Google's Sundar Pichai are quizzed over Hunter's email, but says Holocaust denial is not banned on Twitter in angry clashes with Republican senators. Jack Dorsey acknowledged during a Capitol Hill hearing Wednesday that conservatives don't trust we are acting in good faith. I mean, that's true. You literally censored the Hunter Biden story. You literally censored it when it was verified. And you used a Washington Post story to try to claim otherwise. And you kept it up there in the trending section for, 3 days? Yeah. No wonder they don't have any trust in you in the slightest. The Twitter CEO specifically was defending Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act as Texas Senator Ted Cruz pushed Dorsey on whether he believes his social media site influences the election in any way. Section 230 gave internet services two important tools, and this is why it needs to be reformed, because not necessarily taken away or repealed or anything. It needs to be reformed. It needs to be stated that these big tech companies need to be held responsible, and they can't just ban anybody that they don't agree with. They say Section 230 gave internet services two important tools. Dorsey explained in his opening statement, which he also posted in parts as part of a Twitter thread. The first provides immunity from liability for users' content. The second provides Good Samaritan protections for content moderation and removal, even of constitutionally protected speech, as long as it's done in good faith. That's the section that needs to be taken out and changed and reformed. It's not the first part. The first part's fine. Okay? You can provide immunity from liability for users' content. That's okay. That's fine. But it's the second part. It's removing constitutionally protected speech as long as it is done in good faith, which is deemed what they think is good faith. Now that's just sickening. The concept of good faith is what's being challenged by many of you today. Some of you don't trust we're acting in good faith. He continued, no crap, we don't, because you're not. That's the problem I want to focus on solving, Dorsey avowed. How do services like Twitter earn your trust? How do we ensure more choice in the market if we don't? I don't know, maybe don't ban and censor stories when they've actually been verified to be true. And then don't, maybe put another article trying to say otherwise and try to make that story run instead. Yeah. Trump's tweets have been labeled several times by Twitter as misleading, but Republican Senator Cory Gardner pushed Dorsey on why they don't also censor Iranian leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei tweets on Holocaust denial. Do you believe that the Holocaust really happened? Gardner asked Dorsey, to which he responded, yes. So you would agree that someone who says the Holocaust may not have happened is spreading disinformation? Yes or no? The Colorado Republican pushed. Yes, Dorsey said. I appreciate your answers on this, but they surprise me, Gardner said. After all, Iran's Ayatollah has done exactly this, questioning the Holocaust, and yet his tweets remain unflagged on Twitter's platform. Boom! Twitter, you're getting called out for your hypocrisy, and I love it. And I just hope something comes of it, because, boy, they need to be held accountable. And the good start is reforming Section 230. We got Hunter Biden's former business partner releases audio of Biden family friend imploring him not to go public and claims Joe's brother chuckled and said plausible deniability allows the family to get away with it. So we had read that earlier. It says the former Navy lieutenant who spent 6 months in 2017 in business with Hunter Biden trying unsuccessfully to get a joint venture with a Chinese firm off the ground has made public an audio recording from earlier this month, which he claims was a Biden associate trying to silence him. Tony Bobulinski is appeared blah, blah, we know that. An audio was played of Bob Walker, whose wife works for Joe Biden, allegedly warning Bobulinski not to go public with the information. If he doesn't come out on record, I am providing the facts, Bobulinski told Walker. You're just going to bury all of us, man, Walker, described on the show as a Biden family representative, allegedly replied in the October 18th conversation. During the interview, Bobulinski also claimed that in 2017, he asked Joe Biden's brother Jim, who was part of their business consortium, how he could get away with all their business dealings, and they said plausible deniability. Yeah, I don't think that's going to save you. And I don't think, Twitter, Facebook, and Google, they're going to try to save you. And, they're showing a huge level of bias. And we even have, I showed you the Google search. It wasn't showing up. They're trying to cover all of this up. So you got from Vice, YouTube is using Fox News to combat election night propaganda. Yeah, and this is just a horribly biased article trying to bash Fox News and blah, 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 calling them all just disinformation, misinformation, blah, blah, blah. If anything, Vice, you've started spreading a huge amount of disinformation and misinformation to people. And then all you do is then bash Trump. Whatever happened to you guys? You guys were actually pretty solid at one point, and now you're trash like the rest of most of mainstream media. So apparently from Politico, the Hunter Biden narrative isn't doing so hot. Like, I guess it's being covered up well enough. Except we know from the Google searches that it's hit a huge spike up this month. And it's been staying consistent with those Google searches and having that spike. So Politico, I think you're wrong on this one, man. I think you're wrong. Instead of publishing the more salacious allegations, conservative media has been more focused on covering alleged suppression of the story? No, they're talking about both. And if you actually did any sort of research, Politico, you would find these pictures. You would find these videos. You would find all of this stuff. And it's, believe me, there's a lot of stuff that I wish I didn't see. I'm going to leave it there. It's the last video of the day. I will see you guys then tomorrow with some more news. Bye-bye.